Hi everyone, my name is William Ha and I'm the automotive writer for Elite Gen magazine. Elite Gen is a Chinese-Canadian luxury lifestyle magazine published in both English and Chinese and features a lot of interesting topics like fine foods, fashion, cosmetics, and of course fine automobiles. And this week I'm driving the 2023 Infiniti Q50 Black Opal. So the Black Opal is a special edition model limited to just 50 units in Canada. So it's an attempt by Infiniti to inject some excitement and something different to this otherwise very aged lineup. The Q50 has been out on the market since 2014. So the one unfortunate thing is that a lot of its competitors have surpassed them in terms of coming out with newer models with new technology and more of a new look. And because of that, this vehicle's kind of languished a little bit, and some of these special editions do add a little bit of value, but for the most part, it's still the same overall look, and it's lacking some of the design language of newer vehicles. So the inside looks a little bit more aged. It's still really well equipped inside, but it just looks a little bit older. The dash is kind of short. It isn't as long compared to newer models. The screens are smaller. The resolution of the cameras are not as good. But otherwise, when you want, if you want to look at the positives, it's still a really good car in terms of performance. Like this particular Black Opal model has the same engine that the Nissan Z has. So it's the 3-liter twin turbo engine that has 400 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. This is the same engine that's in the new Z, and of course in the Q50 Red Sport. So it's still a very good performer. The 7-speed automatic transmission shifts very smoothly, so it drives really well and it handles pretty good. The only thing is that its look, it's a little bit aged. You're missing a couple things. You still don't get ventilated seats in the front. The rear passengers don't get heated seats either, and they don't have any USB ports in the back either. So those are examples of some of the little things that makes this vehicle a little bit aged, but there are a lot of nice touches, especially for this Black Opal edition, and we're going to go into details on some of them.
Let's now do an exterior walk around. So this color is really unique. You can see that it looks kind of black here, but it does look different in certain light. So in the dark, it'll look purple, and most of the time it does look forest green, but from far it can look black. So it's definitely a very unique color. I personally really like it. It's one of the best colors I've ever personally seen. There's still nice lines on the hood, and I really like the lit grille emblem. That's a nice touch. And the grille is also black too, which is a Black Opal design touch. And I like this angle too. Still a nice design overall. Again, up close, you can see the paint job. It looks kind of like a dark forest green from this angle too. Go along the sides here. It's got some broad shoulders. And if we go around to the back, it's got LED taillights, dual exhaust outlets. This Black Opal has a axle back exhaust too, so it's a little bit louder. There's a lower diffuser there, as you can see. And the Infiniti script is black too, along with the emblems on the trunk lid. And you also have a carbon fiber lip spoiler, which is really nice. It goes really well with the rest of the design, and it doesn't stand out too much. So it's still a nice design overall, even though the vehicle's been out for 10 years. I personally like it. It still stands out on the road, especially in this color. The wheels look nice too, and it's got red calipers and sport brakes, which look nice. I like the fact that in the rear there's a monoblock caliper as well. Some of the Q50's competition, even though they have sport brakes up front, they have like a chintzy, regular looking caliper in the back, which I think is not as cool. So kudos to Infiniti for not skimping out on the brakes in the rear. And let's look at the trunk too. So the trunk has a pretty good opening. I really like the fact that there are no hinges. Instead, Infiniti designed the trunk to be held up with gas charged struts. So what's good about this is that without the physical hinges, it doesn't take up any additional cargo space when you close the trunk. So that's a really good design. These are the release handles for the seat backs. Unfortunately, you got to open the doors and fold it down. It doesn't pop down on its own. And unfortunately, also, it only has an incandescent bulb in the cargo area, not an LED bulb, unlike the competition. Let's now step inside. So you still have analog gauges, but I like the design. There's like those little blades you can see on the border of the gauges. There's a center screen. You can see that the nav resolution is really dated, but you know, this vehicle came out in 2014, right? This design, so it's to be expected. There's nice red stitching along the passenger side dash. And this is the second screen. It was pretty intuitive to use, and the graphics are a little bit better here. You can use it to turn on your heated steering wheel or control your AC. And then you also have physical buttons for your climate controls too, which is nice. The shifter is kind of clunky. It's really tall and big. That's just an old design hallmark from 15 years ago. Little storage space there along with a 12-volt power plug. And these are, you got 2 cup holders there. They actually light up at night on the bottom there, so that's kind of helpful. And there's not a whole lot of storage space under the armrest, but enough for little odds and ends, and that's also where your USB ports are as well. There are also a lot of good tools within the infotainment system here, as you can see. You can also control your safety and driver assist features from there too. So you also get power bolsters on the driver's seat, which was nice. And you have a thigh support extender as well, which I also really liked, and that's good for tall drivers. There's a sunglasses holder too, which I personally appreciate because most newer vehicles no longer have this feature. And I personally still like having a CD player. Now I'm in the back seat, and the driver's seat has red stitching as well, which is nice. Incandescent bulb, unfortunately, not LEDs. There's a kind of a tall hump, so the center rear passenger won't have a whole lot of foot space. You also have vents back here, but unfortunately there's no temperature control. You can only open the vents or close them, but it's still a nice to have. No USB ports back here either, unfortunately. And it's got a conventional sunroof, not a panoramic. But it's still really comfortable back here though. I like the fact that the seat cushion is really high, so you get good thigh support. And there's good leg room. There's decent headroom as well. And with the armrest, I just pulled it down. You get 2 cup holders. It's a little bit weird that the flap points forward, but it's helpful to have 2 cup holders always. Here's how the exhaust sounds at startup. So there's a total of 5 drive modes. You got Sport Plus, Sport, Standard, Eco, and Snow. So here are my final thoughts on the Q50 Black Opal. It's definitely very unique because of the paintwork, and I really like the little touches like the blacked out grille, the blacked out emblems, and the carbon fiber lip spoiler. Definitely makes the Q50 different from all the other ones. Now, because this Q50 Black Opal starts at just under 70,000, that's going to raise a lot of eyebrows, and I think it's going to create 2 camps. The first one being that people are going to rationalize and say that the competition is a lot newer, more powerful, and it offers a lot more modern features, and the vehicle is not going to be worth it regardless of the new updates that it has. On the other hand, you'll have people who are enthusiasts of the Infiniti brand, maybe someone who really likes Japanese sports sedans or have a special connection to the Infiniti brand. Those are the people that I think would be interested in this vehicle. And I definitely think that it'll hold its value a little bit better probably, given the fact that there are only 50 units in all of Canada. And a lot of the unique features you don't see on the other Q50 trims. So if somebody wants to stand out and experience the joy of knowing that they have a different Q50, then a vehicle like this would be for that buyer. Now that said, I recorded this last section of video because I wanted to wait until after the Japanese mobility show ended. Because that show today is we're in mid-November now, so the Japanese mobility show took place a few weeks ago, and at that show, Infiniti unveiled a concept vehicle that they called the Vision QE. And so that's an all-electric sporty sedan. It's got really nice lines, very swoopy silhouette. And I think if they were to put that vehicle into production, it would be likely the replacement for the Q50. And I definitely hope they do it because, as we all know, we're moving towards greater electrification. Every manufacturer is committed to it, and that vehicle would be a good fit. And just based on its styling, I think it would excite a lot of car enthusiasts, and that's really what Infiniti needs right now. They really need a vehicle that's going to be a grand slam for them, the way the original G35 was 20 years ago, or even the Infiniti FX sporty crossover that also came out 20 years ago. Vehicles like that really get people excited because at the end of the day, if you want to sell premium vehicles, you really got to nail the emotional aspects. And when I say emotional aspects, I mean styling has got to be able to turn heads, and a vehicle has to be fun to drive and have a lot of power as well. So I think as long as Infiniti can nail those things really well, then they can capture the minds and hearts of car enthusiasts and the greater driving public as well. I'm cheering for them. I hope they do well. In Canada, at least, they just really need some new product and exciting products at that. So, cheering for them, hoping in a couple of years that they can gain some momentum again. So, I hope this video helped for anybody who might have heard about the Q50 Black Opal or saw one on the road and wanted to learn more. I hope this video helped. Thanks very much for watching.